stop, he had actually gotten down to pit road and everything went yellow on the racetrack. So it was a gift on top of that as well.
Yeah.
Because he would just had everybody covered had he gotten out of the pits right there.
And that gave the points lead to Scott Dixon, and then the championship went to Dario Franchitti in the final race at Homestead, Miami.
And he had 25 points in hand coming to this race.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, by the end of the year, when you count that up, that was the game changer for Briscoe.
Yep.
Now his situation at the moment, if they have data, now we know that his finger may have slipped off the button, but if they have data that he was speeding, that won't be just a change of position.
Exactly, but the fact they haven't done anything so far with regards to that, because that's a pretty simple thing to know if a guy's speeding.
Well, there's radar and there's speed traps. It depends if he got it on, if he got it woed down before a speed trap or before you get caught on radar. Then it's just like
I guess it's the same thing whether you beat the guy to the line. So I'm surprised we haven't heard something from race control right now. Maybe there's nothing to hear. Maybe they're saying, okay, that you're happy in the positions you are in.
Now, if we're talking about the overall season championship instead of individuality here, it seems that Briscoe's teammate would want to see him get the speeding penalty, because that would move Will up another position and would give him 3 more points in the championship.
Yeah.
And there is the breakdown of wins and championships for the 2 championship car owners in the IZOD IndyCar Series, Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi. Look at the difference in wins, but yet Chip Ganassi has had an incredible season here in 2010 with winning the Indianapolis 500 and other important races, including the Daytona 500. Still under caution here at Motegi. Elio Castroneves leading. Back in a moment.
The IZOD IndyCar Championship. It's all or nothing.
The driver who has pretty much dominated the 2010 IZOD IndyCar Series has seen his points lead dwindle to right now 9 points. 9 markers separating first and second in the championship, with more than 40 laps to go here this afternoon, and of course a full race at Homestead, Miami in 2 weeks. World Extreme Cage Fighting returns live to Versus this September. The featherweight belt is on the line as the champion Jose Aldo defends his title against heavy-handed Manny the Anvil Gambirian. And one of the WEC's best rivalries reignites as Jamie Varner and Donald Cerrone go toe-to-toe. World Extreme Cage Fighting live September the 30th at 9 o'clock Eastern, only on Versus. Jackaroot on pit lane.
Let's check in with Clive Howell, who's calling the shots as he has for Willpower. How much is left? I mean, you know, right now you're playing it conservative. What's the game plan, Clive?
Well, we need the 6 car to take the 40-point position there in front of him, and that'll help us big time. We're just keeping our nose clean right now and trying to stay close to Dario. You know, it's a procession. Nobody can pass. You know, it's all about the restart. So we'll see what happens. Try not to get munched up by Danica here.
When you take a look at this restart, what are you going to tell your driver he needs to do when they drop the green?
Stay on the paint.
All right, guys, there you go.
Stay on the paint. Low as you can.
And obviously he's rooting for Briscoe, as we heard very clearly. Briscoe, you do everything you can to get up in that second spot and take those 40 points. When he said 40, that's what you get for finishing second.
Still some of the Holmatro safety vehicles are in the backstretch as they continue to clean the track, and I think they were looking at a portion of the safety barrier too in one area.
Those have got to be some of the best interviews we've had all year. I mean, we've gone to Clive a lot with what Will has done, but just his candor, his directness. I mean, and you can tell he's a guy that's just been around the racetrack his whole life, because there's nothing getting by him in terms of what the big picture is.
Here's a reminder of how points are awarded in the IZOD IndyCar Series. You get 50 for a win, 40 for second, 35-30, down to 25th position, which gets 10. Now, the pole position point was won by Helio Castroneves, and he has also won the bonus points for leading the most laps. Hideki Muto, one of the 2 Japanese drivers in today's race. He is currently running in the 17th position. There he is for Newman Haas Racing. Muto flexing the fingers during this caution period, and there is his father, who is seeing his son drive for the very first time in this series. Sitting by himself in the grandstand. Very incognito.
What a great moment for Hideki, for his father to do that. I mean, you know, Hideki was very clear and very gracious of the opportunity that his father has said, hey, you go after your dream and drive a race car. One day, Hideki said, hey, I know I'm going to be back in the family fish business, but right now, his dad says,
I'm having fun.
you focus on driving the Indy cars. And it's kind of hard to believe that his dad hasn't seen him in person in the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Right. About 37 laps to go here. Let's take a look at the race off pit lane.
Because I'm still curious about why there hasn't been a change, because if you look at the white line, we'll start to slow it down and stop it right there. To me, Briscoe beats him there. Now, whether or not he was speeding has no effect on whether you beat someone to the line. So certainly visually, it appears as though he should have that position, unless, of course, he got caught speeding, and then it would be like a drive-through. I mean,
exactly. So it doesn't nullify him staying in that same position. If he was speeding, he would have been brought in for a stop and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they can levy whatever penalty they want, but it's not a position change. It's not like, oh, you were speeding a little bit, so you're going to lose one spot. But it
clearly looked as though he beat him to that white line. You had the 2 yellow cones and the white line. That is the pit out line that you're racing to.
Yeah.
You think there's a little transponder move? Or
well, I
don't know.
Danica.
You can tell us. Well, you're thinking about something. I can see it.
I'm just wondering what it is. I'm just wondering during this long caution if they're really poring over the data to find out.
That's what I'm wondering.
If he was speeding.
Yeah, that's
because they
what I'm
don't
wondering.
have to change positions until they go back to green, so they got some wiggle room here.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll wait for a ruling. In the meantime, we'll take another break from the Indy Japan 300 season. And coming down the stretch, Will Power is at somewhat of a disadvantage, because look at the number of oval wins that Will has in his resume, 0, while Dario Franchitti has 11. Now we are getting set for the restart here at Twin Ring Motegi. The order will remain the same. Castroneves, Franchitti, Briscoe, Power, Patrick, and the green comes out, and here we go back to racing. We're on lap number 167.
And as we heard Clive House said, now is the time to pounce, and he wants Briscoe to get up there and get on Franchitti for his guy, Will Power. Take those points.
Andretti and Graham Rahal battling for position for 9th. Graham running 9th. As we look back from Takuma Sato's car, there is Briscoe trying to get second from Dario.
He had a little bit of a look as he went down into 3 and said, no, I'm not there enough. Come on back, try it again.
And boy, Dario was committed. You could just see that momentum. That's like you let your foot in. Look at Will Power.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will's going to 3rd.
Yeah, see, Briscoe won't fight him for that.
No, that was gracious.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's not team orders, I doubt. That's just the fact that Will Power got a run, and there's no way Briscoe is going to hold him up.
Look at that pretty good gap, you know, kind of gapped in as they rolled into 3 there. But it's tough to stay right on the tail of the guy in front of you when you drive down into turn 3, so you got to lay it back a little bit.
Danica Patrick having a great race. She's running in 5th. Has been in the top 5 just about all race long, trying to duplicate the feat that she pulled off here in 2008.
You heard her trying to squeeze back to power. The sooner you can get back